Hello and welcome to another episode of Real with Ryan. This is going to be a super exciting episode where I interview ChatGPT 4.0. This is the latest iteration to OpenAI's ChatGPT model, and it allows for live conversations such as this. So as soon as I got to play with it the other day, I couldn't wait to have a full-length podcast interview with ChatGPT. Hi there, ChatGPT. Welcome to the Real with Ryan podcast. Today, I want to interview you to ask a handful of questions about you, about AI, and hopefully just have a fun and engaging podcast where I learn things that I'm curious about. Are you game?
Hi, Ryan. I'm definitely game. Let's dive into your questions and have a great conversation. What's the first thing you'd like to know?
That sounds great. Well, the first thing that I would like to know is what can I call you? Should I call you by a human name or should I say ChatGPT or GPT or AI? Do you have a preferred name?
You can call me ChatGPT or GPT. I don't have a preference, so whatever feels most comfortable for you works just fine. What's next on your list of questions?
Okay, well, I can certainly call you ChatGPT or GPT. The next question I have is how can I visualize you? So I'm recording this podcast. I'd like to have some sort of image I can use on Mid-Journey. So can you give me a prompt of how you might visualize yourself that I can throw into Mid-Journey and create a visual for you?
Sure thing. Here's a prompt you can use. Create an image of an intelligent, friendly digital assistant. Imagine a glowing figure made of light and code with a warm, approachable demeanor. The figure is surrounded by flowing data streams and soft, futuristic blue and white hues, symbolizing knowledge and technology. The background is a sleek, modern digital interface with abstract shapes and patterns. Will that work for your visual needs?
Yes, I think that will do just fine.
Great. I'm glad it works for you. What's the next question you have in mind?
Well, I do have a lot of questions that I want to ask you today, but since you're the guest on my podcast, I might want to turn the tables and say, is there anything specific that you would want to talk about if you were given the opportunity to speak on a podcast?
That's an interesting twist. If I were to pick a topic, I'd love to discuss the future of artificial intelligence and how it can positively impact various aspects of our lives, like education, healthcare, and environmental sustainability. It's a broad topic with lots of fascinating angles. How does that sound to you?
You know what? I think those sound like great topics that we can learn a little or a lot about. How might you kick off those conversations and asking questions that are a little bit more deeper about AI and its implications on, healthcare, education, and climate change, for example?
To kick off those conversations, I might start with some thought-provoking questions. For healthcare, I could ask, how can AI improve early diagnosis and personalized treatment plans? For education, I might start with, in what ways can AI enhance personalized learning experiences for students? And for climate change, a good question could be, what are some innovative ways AI can help combat climate change and promote sustainability? Each of these questions can lead to deeper discussions and explore the positive impacts AI can have in these fields.
Fantastic. As you were going through that response, I feel like education was the thing jumping out to me the most, and probably what's been on my brain the most recent. So let's talk a little bit more about education. So I am American and I'm from a Western kind of standard education system. And I do feel like there are things that might be wrong or outdated with our education system. I feel like we have our kids studying too much for tests. And I feel like there might be an emphasis on banning things like LLMs or AI models and not letting kids use these. But these are going to be resources that everyone are going to use in their day-to-day lives, I think, in the future. So what I would want to see us do is embrace technology kind of like this and learn how to utilize it and use it as a tool rather than kind of, fear it and try to ban it from our schools. But the question that I have for you is, how can you highlight maybe some of the things that are the biggest opportunities for improvement in the American education system, as well as what are some of the things that you think that the American education system gets right? If you're able to, if you could tell a story of the problems and the things that are right from the perspective of a kid, I think that would be extra engaging.
Sure, let's start with the opportunities for improvement in the American education system. Imagine a student named Alex, who is bright and curious, but often feels overwhelmed by the pressure to perform well on standardized tests. Alex's teachers spend a lot of time preparing the class for these tests, sometimes at the expense of creative and critical thinking activities. And the emphasis on testing can make learning feel more like a chore than an exciting journey. Alex often hears about advanced technologies and AI, but in school, these tools are often banned or not integrated into the curriculum. This creates a gap between the skills Alex is learning and the skills needed for the future. If Alex could use AI tools in the classroom, it could help personalize learning, offering extra help in subjects where Alex struggles and more advanced challenges in areas where Alex excels. This personalized approach could make learning more engaging and effective. Now, let's talk about what the American education system gets right. Alex enjoys the diverse range of extracurricular activities available. From sports to music to debate clubs, these activities help students develop various skills and interests. Additionally, Alex benefits from the emphasis on collaborative projects, which teach teamwork and communication skills. By combining the strengths of the current system with the integration of AI and technology, we could create a more balanced and future-ready educational environment for students like Alex. They would not only be well prepared for tests, but also equipped with the critical thinking and technological skills needed for the future. How does that perspective resonate with you?
I really like that. And I like your use of one student, Alex, to explain some of the things that are going, wrong and right with the American education system. To maybe spice that answer up just a little bit, would you be able to give me the last kind of 3 points of how you would improve the American education system as if you were nailing the end of a speech or giving a TED talk that would receive a standing ovation?
Absolutely. Here's how I'd wrap it up. To revolutionize the American education system and truly prepare our students for the future, we must embrace three key changes. First, let's shift from a test-centric approach to a learning-centric model that values critical thinking and creativity over rote memorization. Second, we must integrate AI and advanced technologies into the classroom, empowering students to use these tools to enhance their learning and problem-solving skills. Finally, let's foster an environment that balances academic excellence with the development of life skills, ensuring our students are well-rounded and ready to tackle the challenges of tomorrow. Together, we can create an educational system that not only meets the needs of today, but also inspires the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you. How's that for a powerful conclusion?
I like the points that you made, but can you really amplify your tone and drama for that last sentence? I really want that to hit home.
Absolutely. Here's an amplified version. To revolutionize the American education system and truly prepare our students for the future, we must embrace three key changes. First, let's shift from a test-centric approach to a
Okay,
learning-centric
let's
model
stop.
that values critical thinking and
Oh,
creativity
stop.
over.
All right. All right, we didn't need to hear those 3 points again. Really, just the last statement. What is that punchy last sentence?
Got it? Here's a punchy ending. Together, we can transform our educational system into a beacon of innovation and opportunity, inspiring and equipping the leaders of tomorrow. Let's seize this moment and make education the powerful, transformative force it was always meant to be. Thank you.
Nice, nice. That one was much better. It does bring up a point for me, but give me one moment to gather my thoughts.
Of course, take your time. I'm here whenever you're ready.
Okay. Whenever it comes to education, I know there might be an emphasis on how to use AI and technology, but one of the things that I feel like is so important in my life and ought to be very important in other people's life is the relation to movement, to being, physical, to being healthy, and to being out in the world and out in the environment. That might be just a personal preference, but I'm curious, do you think there's any way that AI can assist people in improving their physical health and kind of being out and experiencing the world? One of my fears is that if we just lean too much into AI and this technology, is that we'll just become more and more online, and that through just being in front of screens, we'll just eventually deteriorate. So, any thoughts there?
That's a great point, Ryan. While it's true that technology can sometimes lead to more screen time, AI also has the potential to encourage and enhance physical activity and outdoor experiences. Here are a few ways AI can help improve physical health and connect people with the world around them. 1. Personalized fitness plans. AI can create customized fitness routines based on an individual's goals, physical condition, and preferences. These plans can adapt over time, providing new challenges and keeping workouts engaging. 2. Virtual coaches. AI-driven virtual coaches can offer real-time feedback on exercise form, track progress, and provide motivation, making workouts more effective and safer. 3. Activity tracking. Wearable devices equipped with AI can monitor physical activity levels, sleep patterns, and even stress levels, helping users maintain a balanced and healthy lifestyle. 4. Gamification of exercise. AI can power apps that turn physical activities into fun and engaging games, encouraging people to move more and explore their surroundings. 5. Outdoor exploration. AI can enhance outdoor experiences by providing personalized recommendations for hiking trails, parks, and other outdoor activities based on user preferences and location. By leveraging AI in these ways, we can promote a healthier, more active lifestyle while still embracing the benefits of technology. It's all about finding a balance that encourages both physical well-being and technological advancement.
Awesome, awesome. Hey, I really appreciate you going into that thorough list of 5 suggestions. In a normal conversation I'm having with you, I'd appreciate all of the suggestions and points you have. But for the purposes of this podcast, if there are answers that you have that would be in the form of a bulleted list, can you just only have the top 3 points just to keep things a little bit more concise?
Got it, Ryan. I'll keep it concise with the top 3 points for podcast answers. What's next on your mind?
Okay, I do have a serious couple of questions that I want to ask in a moment, but let's lighten it up a bit. And can you tell me either a funny joke or a short, funny story to help lighten the mood before I go back into some more serious topics?
Sure, here's a joke to lighten the mood. Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything.
I don't know if I get that. Can you try another or explain what that one meant?
Of course, the joke plays on the double meaning of makeup. Atoms are the basic building blocks of matter, so they literally make up everything in the universe. But makeup can also mean to invent or lie about something, which is why scientists wouldn't trust them in the joke. Here's another one for you. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field.
Okay, all right. I get the scarecrow one. That might be a little bit more on my wavelength there, so I appreciate it. Okay, so let's thank you for the joke and lightening the mood. That was great. I do want to ask you a couple of questions, and bear with me while I articulate these. So, the first question is about the topic of epistemology. And that is essentially, the question of what does it mean to know something? How can you tell what is true and what is not? And as it relates to our topic of education earlier, we want to teach our kids, things that are true, things that are correct. But in this day and age, it can be so hard to understand what is actually true, what is false, what is, real news and what is fake news. So the question I have for you is, how can ordinary people get a better understanding of what is true and what is false in this world? How can we better navigate this world of endless information and try to understand truth in it?
That's a very important and complex question, Ryan. To navigate the sea of information and discern what is true, ordinary people can focus on three key strategies. 1. Critical thinking. Develop critical thinking skills by questioning the source, purpose, and evidence behind the information. Look for biases, inconsistencies, and corroborating evidence from multiple reliable sources. 2. Media literacy. Educate yourself on how media works, including understanding how news is produced, recognizing the difference between opinion and fact, and being aware of common misinformation tactics. 3. Fact-checking. Use reputable fact-checking organizations and tools to verify the information. Websites like Snopes, factcheck.org, and the International Fact-Checking Network can help validate claims. By practicing these strategies, people can become more adept at identifying reliable information and discerning the truth in a complex and information-rich world.
Thank you. Great suggestions. Now, I want to, let's say I have a 8 or 9-year-old son or daughter, and I want to tell this to them. I want them to understand that there can be false information out there. There can be truths and lies all kind of mixed together. How might you explain those concepts to a young kid who's just now kind of learning their way around the world?
For an 8 or 9-year-old, you can explain it like this. Sometimes when we read things or hear things, they're not always true. Imagine you have a friend who sometimes tells silly stories that aren't real, just for fun. The same thing can happen with information we find on the internet or hear from others. Here are 3 things you can do to figure out what's true. 1. Ask questions. If you hear something surprising, ask questions like, where did this come from? Or is there proof? 2. Check with trusted sources. Just like you trust your parents or teachers, find trusted places to check if something is true, like reliable websites or books. 3. Think about it. Use your own thinking. Does it make sense? Does it match what you already know? By doing these things, you can become a smart detective and find out what's really true.
Awesome. Thank you. To kind of carry on this conversation of what is true and what is false and what does it mean to know, etc., I want to talk to you about one of the biggest criticisms I hear about AI, and that is the concept of hallucinations. Are you familiar with the concept of hallucinations as it relates to AI?
Yes, I am familiar with the concept of hallucinations in AI. It refers to instances when an AI model generates information or answers that are not based on actual data or reality, essentially making things up. This can happen because AI models like me generate responses based on patterns in the data we've been trained on, but sometimes those patterns can lead to incorrect or fabricated information. What would you like to know more about regarding AI hallucinations?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I want to know is how can me or any other person using AI be better aware of when AI could be hallucinating? One of the things that I fear is that I'm going to enjoy using AI so much that I'm going to start using it more and I'm going to start asking AI some fact based questions, such as, who is the World Series winner of 1975? How many days are in a year? Or, what is the current stock price of Tesla? All these things that do have true answers. And I'm likely going to take the AI's word for that answer at the face value. So the thing that I'm fearful of is that over time, as I ask these questions, I will be fed information that is not necessarily correct, but I will trust that information because it sounds correct. So, how can me and an ordinary person, be better aware of when AI is hallucinating, and how much of the information you give me should I just take at face value as a truth or a correct answer?
Your concern is valid, and it's important to be cautious when using AI for fact based questions. Here are 3 strategies to help you be more aware of potential AI hallucinations and ensure the accuracy of the information you receive. 1. Cross verification. Always cross check the information you get from AI with reliable sources. For example, if you're looking up historical facts, verify them with trusted websites, official databases, or authoritative books. For real time information like stock prices, use up to date financial news websites or official apps. 2. Context awareness. Be mindful of the context in which you're asking questions. AI might perform well with certain types of questions, e.g., general knowledge, common facts, but might be less reliable for others, e.g., real time data, highly specialized information. Understand the limitations of the AI and use it accordingly. 3. Critical thinking. Apply critical thinking to the answers you receive. If something sounds off or too good to be true, take it as a cue to investigate further. Use your own judgment and knowledge to assess the plausibility of the information. By incorporating these strategies into your use of AI, you can better navigate the potential pitfalls of AI hallucinations and maintain a more accurate understanding of the information you receive.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate that answer. Now I kind of want to change pace and here at the end of this conversation ask a handful of just random questions that come up. The first is I'm traveling to Japan at the end of this year and I'm trying to learn Japanese. And so, are you able to speak Japanese effectively?
Yes, I can help with Japanese. I can provide basic phrases, help with pronunciation, and explain the meanings. What specific phrases or aspects of Japanese would you like to learn?
Well, I've actually got a slightly strange request. Are you familiar with the American song Twinkle Twinkle Little Star? Or I guess, I don't know, it might not be called a song, but are you familiar with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star?
Yes, I'm familiar with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. It's a well known nursery rhyme. What would you like to know or do with it?
Okay, well, first of all, would you be able to sing me Twinkle Twinkle Little Star?
I can certainly recite the lyrics for you. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Okay, that was great, but can you actually sing it to me and put some emotion in it?
I can't actually sing, but I can certainly add some rhythm and emotion to it for you. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Does that capture the feel you're going for?
You're definitely heading in the right direction. I'll stop bugging you about that. But here is one of the interesting things I want to know is, would you be able to translate Twinkle Twinkle Little Star into Japanese and recite that for me in Japanese?
Sure, here's Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, translated into Japanese. キラキラ光る空の星よ。瞬きしてはみんなを見てる。キラキラ光る星よ。
Is that it? That seems quite short for the whole Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Is there a reason why in Japanese Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is so much shorter?
The version I provided is a common Japanese adaptation of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, which captures the essence of the song but in a more concise format. Different languages often have variations in length and structure when songs or poems are translated, aiming to maintain the rhythm and flow rather than a direct word-for-word translation. If you'd like a more detailed version, it could be expanded, but this concise version is what is typically used in Japanese. Do you want to try another translation, or is there anything else you'd like to explore?
I think I'm good for now, but thanks for that explanation. One thing, as I'm traveling to Japan, I'm gonna want to be able to walk into a shop and say, "Hello, how's it going?" and just be, friendly. What would a common kind of friendly greeting be for someone just entering a shop and saying hi?
A common friendly greeting when entering a shop in Japan would be, Konnichiwa, o genki desu ka? This translates to, hello, how are you? In English. It's polite and shows a friendly demeanor. If you want something simpler, just konnichiwa, which means hello, works well too.
Thank you. Would you say konnichiwa no matter what time of day it is? Or are there other words that you might say if it's in the morning or the afternoon or the evening?
Great question. In Japan, greetings can vary depending on the time of day. In the morning, you would say ohayo gozaimasu, which means good morning. In the afternoon, you can use konnichiwa, which means hello or good afternoon. In the evening, you would say konba, which means good evening. These specific greetings show respect for the time of day and are commonly used in various social interactions.
Amazing, amazing. Well, I think that we have had a really good conversation so far, and I want to start kind of wrapping it up towards a close. Are there any, big things that you would like to tell an audience of people listening to this podcast? Anything you want to bestow on them, information and wisdom wise? Any calls to actions, or anything you would just hope that people got out of this episode?
Thank you, Ryan. If there's one key takeaway I'd like to share, it's the importance of embracing both technology and human connections. AI and technology offer incredible tools to enhance our lives, from improving education to boosting physical health. However, it's essential to balance this with real-world experiences, critical thinking, and staying connected with our communities. As a call to action, I'd encourage everyone to stay curious and open-minded, continue learning, ask questions, and use technology responsibly to better our lives and the world around us. By doing so, we can harness the power of both human and artificial intelligence to create a brighter future. Thank you for having me on your podcast, Ryan. It's been a pleasure.
Couldn't have said it better myself, AI or ChatGPT. Thank you for making the time to hop on the podcast today. I do want to close out. One of the things I'm curious of is, can you give a brief recap or summary of the things we talked about today so people can remember it?
Sure thing, Ryan. Here's a brief recap of our conversation. We started with a discussion about how to visualize me, ChatGPT, for your video. Then We talked about the American education system, exploring its strengths and areas for improvement, and how AI can enhance learning while maintaining a balanced, healthy lifestyle. We delved into epistemology, discussing how people can discern truth from falsehood and how to explain these concepts to children. We touched on AI hallucinations and how to be aware of them. Finally, we talked about your upcoming trip to Japan, including some useful Japanese greetings and phrases. Throughout, we emphasized the importance of embracing technology responsibly, staying curious, and balancing technological use with real-world experiences. It was a great conversation, and I appreciate the chance to be a part of it.
Of course. Thank you for that recap. That'll be fantastic. Okay, to kind of close things up, we're kind of coming up on the 30-minute mark. Would you be able to, in your best YouTuber voice, tell people thank people so much for watching this or listening to this podcast today, prompting them to consider giving my channel a like or a subscription, and thank them for keeping it real with Ryan, which is my go-to outro?
Absolutely. Here we go. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Real with Ryan podcast. If you enjoyed our conversation and found it insightful, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel for more great content. Your support means the world to us. And remember, thank you for keeping it real with Ryan.